Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a new video, and what this video is basically my tips or observations I have made as a new mom. So if you've been following my channel, I am a mom to a 10-week-old girl. She turned 10 weeks old today, and if you hear noises or music, she's just down here beside me on her play mat. So hopefully it keeps her entertained for the duration of this video, should I say. So basically it's going to be like tips or observations. As I said, I'm only new myself, so these are things that I wanted to share with people because people don't really share some tips with people. So I'm just going to jump on in and see what I come up with. This is not at all thought out, so it's probably going to be everywhere. But my first tip I mentioned in my breastfeeding journey video is to acquaint yourself with breastfeeding information. I didn't do this, and it was the biggest downfall for me on my breastfeeding Ava. So if I was to do this all again, I would definitely research breastfeeding. In your local area, there may be breastfeeding groups, there may be support groups, lactation consultants. Talk to your hospital about it. All of these sorts of things. What I didn't know that you could do is that you can tube feed, and there's a range of information out there on that. There is cup feeding, and then the most important thing that I learnt in those early days with regards to breastfeeding, because my baby was in the NICU and I wasn't creating any milk, was hand expressing. So hand expressing, I will include a link to a video that I watched in the hospital about that. So definitely research your breastfeeding and check out all of the local breastfeeding groups, your lactation consultants, and all other areas that is a step before you start to bottle feed, because once you start to bottle feed, it is kind of tough for them to come back onto the breast. So that would be my number one. These are in no particular order. Number two is about baby blues. So when I was pregnant, or before I was pregnant, people were talking about baby blues, and oh, some people get them and some people don't. And from what I seen in the hospital, every person in there definitely did get it in some shape or form. Some people were worse, some people were more. When I was in the hospital, I definitely had it. Or I definitely was feeling it, should I say. And then was when I came home and she was our sole responsibility, then that's when I really felt it. And luckily I had so much support around me, and what I found helped me best was to talk about it. At first I didn't want to talk about it because I felt like I was doing something wrong. I felt a lot of guilt around a range of things, like silly things that didn't really, in the grand scheme of things, don't actually matter, but in my head they were like the biggest deal. And the best thing I could do was talk to Robert about them. It turns out that he was also kind of having baby blues, and I think it was more to do with because of how I was acting. So men can get that too, or some shape or form of it, you know. So basically talk about it. If you're feeling it, talk about it. If you need to cry, cry. Crying really helps. Crying it out really helps. I found it helped me anyways. And as I said, talk about it. If you go to your health provider, you can talk about it with them if they bring it up. And even if they don't, if you just want to talk about it, because it is normal, and obviously it needs to be closely watched in case it does turn into postnatal depression, and then obviously you need there's a range of services that can help you with that also. Number 3 tip is put your baby in sleep suits or onesies, or I'm not sure what you call them, but baby girls we call them here. When your baby is a newborn, there's no need for you to put them in clothes. Having a new baby is so it zaps your energy. It really just saps your energy, and the last thing you need to be doing is coordinating little outfits for them. They're gonna get sick, they're gonna poop on them, there's gonna be leakages, there's gonna be everything, and the last thing you need to be doing is worrying about what dress will I put them on today, or what little nice outfit will I put them on today. The best thing you can do is put them in a onesie or sleep suit or baby grow or whatever it is called in your country. If I have a baby again, I will definitely be doing that. And also tip number 4, I suppose, is that your baby might not fit in newborn. It might not even fit in 0 to 3. Ava only fit in newborn for a couple of days, and 0 to 3 for like 2 weeks. She's now in 3 to 6 months, and as I said, she's 10 weeks old, and that's nearly getting too small for her. Now, she was a bigger baby, some babies may be in newborn for a long time, so it really varies what I would do and what I would plan to do if I have a baby. If we have another baby, is that buy a couple of things. Buy like a pack of sleep suits, or 2 packs of sleep suits. So there's like 4 sleep suits, and then some vests, like a pack of vests, so you have like 6 or 7 vests, and just roll with that. Just roll with it. People are going to buy you stuff, so you know, you could say to your parents or your friends, you know, could you just buy us like sleep suits or onesies, or instead of cutesy little outfits, because in the early days, it's just, I don't think there's any reason for them to be in little outfits like that, because as I said, they're not in them for long, and you're changing and changing and changing. The next one would be about nappies. So again, with nappies, in America, I think you can bring them back and you can exchange them for sizes, but here in Ireland we can't do that. If people gift us nappies, and we don't have any receipt, I can't do anything with them. I have to just keep them. So again, we had 3 packets of size 1s, and once they were gone, we moved to the size 2s, and now Ava is in size 3s. Again, they grow so quickly that they're growing out of these things, so I wouldn't overstock on the smaller sizes. Obviously as they get bigger, they're going to be in them for longer, in the bigger sizes for longer, but try not to overstock on the smaller sizes. I'm trying to think of anything else. As I said, this wasn't really thought about. Yeah, that old thing that everybody says is sleeping the baby sleeping, and really you need to do that. What I found is, even though Ava was a really good sleeper, I was anticipating when she would wake up, and I wouldn't sleep as well. I would just expect her to wake up, or I'd be thinking I wouldn't hear her if she wakes up. So I'd kind of keep myself awake, and then there comes a point where you're purely exhausted. And you just knock out. So the best thing you can do, honestly, is sleep when the baby sleeps. I found the easiest way to do that was, she'd wake up at night for a feed, and we'd put her back down to sleep. Now she'd wake up in the morning like a normal time, like 6, 7, 8, 9, whichever time it was, and then we'd put her back down, and then we'd go back to bed. And usually in those first 2 weeks that Robert had off, we'd go back to bed, and we wouldn't get up until 11, and then we'd be awake. And then what we would do is Robert would go sleep first that night, and I'd do the late feed, and then he'd get up and do the middle of the night feed. So we would each skip a feed, and we'd get a break that way. Now that obviously, some people don't have that privilege, that their husbands work nights, or they're a lone parent. So my recommendation is to sleep when your baby sleeps. Don't be worried about your house. If people have an issue with your house, tell them to clean it. You know, you have a new baby you're trying to get used to, and that he or she is trying to get used to being out in the world. So don't worry about it. It really isn't something that you need to worry about. So yeah, as I said, don't worry about it. Ava is here, she's fallen asleep, so she's getting a little bit whingy because she was on the mat and she didn't want to be, she wants to go to sleep. So they are my tips that I can think of, guys. If there is anything else, I will do another video as time progresses, stuff that I have realized as she is growing. I always find that interesting because there's so many things that I have to Google or ask other people about whether this is normal, that is normal, and right now I can't think of it. That is one thing that will happen. You will have major baby brain. It's your ability to remember things as a mother is, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Your ability to remember things as a mother really is tough. Being on time is a thing of the past, so don't stress yourself out about that either. But as I said, I'm going to go because Ava needs to go down for her nap now. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. If you like it, give it a big old thumbs up, and we will be back with you soon, guys. Bye.